Anxiety disorders are chronic conditions characterized by an excessive and persistent sense of apprehension with physical symptoms such as sweating, palpitations, and feelings of stress. Anxiety disorders have biological and environmental causes. According to MedicineNet.com, anxiety disorders are very common and affecting 1 in 10 Americans. Today I will first explain some information to you regarding the different types of anxiety disorders. Next, I will explain the symptoms each of these disorders cause. And finally, I will discuss how we can try to prevent from ever having an anxiety attack. The National Institute of Mental Health states, anxiety is a normal reaction to stress. It helps one deal with a tense situation in the office, to study harder for an exam, to keep focused for an important speech. In general, it helps one cope, but when anxiety becomes an excessive, irrational dread of everyday situations, it has become a disabling problem. I will inform you now about the 4 different types of anxiety disorders that interfere with citizens' lives. Generalized anxiety disorder, panic anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and social anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder is a relatively common anxiety problem that turns daily life into a state of worry, anxiety, and fear. It makes you dwell on what if I walk outside and what if I walk outside and someone, hits me with a car if I cross the street or whatever. As a result, the person feels there's no way out of the vicious cycle of anxiety and worry, and then becomes depressed about life, and that's where they find anxiety. Panic disorder. This is a disorder that is characterized by unexpected and repeated episodes of intense fear, which also includes many physical symptoms. Panic attack is a sudden surge of overwhelming fear that comes without warning or any obvious reason. Okay, obsessive compulsive disorder. This is a disorder that is characterized by suffering and experiencing repeated obsessions and compulsions that interfere with the person's ability to function socially, occupationally, or educationally. It's also followed by ritual actions or, either praying excessively or having to touch so many times or, one thing so many times. It helps reduce the anxiety caused by the individual's obsessive thoughts. It's often described as a disease of doubt. Social anxiety disorder is a disorder in which a person has an excessive, unreasonable fear of social situations. A person with a social anxiety disorder is afraid that he or she will make mistakes or be embarrassed in front of people. Now I move on to explaining to you the symptoms that vary depending on the type of disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder symptoms include restlessness or feeling keyed up or on edge, being easily fatigued, difficulty concentrating or mind going blank, irritability, muscle tension, sleep disturbance, you don't get too much sleep. Panic anxiety disorder symptoms: racing heartbeat, feeling weak, faint, and dizzy, tingling or numbness in the hands and fingers, feeling sweaty or having chills, chest pains, breathing difficulty, or feeling a loss of control. Obsessive compulsive disorder symptoms. It's performing the same action repeatedly, fear of being contaminated by shaking hands or by touching objects others have touched, doubts that you've locked the door or turned off the stove, hand washing until your skin becomes raw, intense distress when objects aren't orderly facing the right way, or avoidance of situation that can trigger obsessions such as shaking hands, or social anxiety disorder symptoms. Shaking voice, rapid breathing, sweating or hot flashes, trembling or shaking, dizziness, feeling faint, twitching, upset stomach, nausea. WebMD states that an anxiety disorder is a serious mental illness for people with anxiety disorders. Worry and fear are constant, overwhelming, and can be crippling. Finally, I will discuss the treatments and preventions for anxiety disorders. According to PhD Mark Dombeck states that since all disorders can have a medical cause or component, it's important for individuals to get thoroughly and medically checked out before consulting a psychological or psychiatric care. He also states that typically the most effective treatment will be an approach which incorporates both psychological and approaches. I will now like to explain some of the principles that are used to overcome anxiety disorders so that you may understand what they are and how you could maybe prevent them. People with these disorders should try to begin with a positive routines to maintain a calm, relaxed outlook on life. To prevent anxiety from ruining their lives, they should contact a doctor or psychiatrist if the anxiety seems impossible to control. Thank you for letting me discuss these anxieties, and hopefully they'll help you if you ever feel that you're having an anxiety disorder